All right, we got another episode of Titans this week, and we get to dive into the second Robin, Jason Todd. Spoilers, he's not doing all right.
He's not okay.
He's got some issues.
Just
Batman.
not okay.
Batman, you may have gotten a bad egg.
Not your best.
Not my worst, though.
Leading into the reveal of last week, we can now say that this episode is episode 106, is titled Jason Todd. And before he can reunite with the Titans, Dick reluctantly teams with Jason Todd, the new Robin, to catch a serial killer targeting people from Dick's past. And I thought this was a significantly better exploration of Dick's quote-unquote origin than episode 3 origin.
And this is spoiler-free.
This is spoiler-free.
Reminder to me.
It's a reminder to all of us.
Yeah,
because there's things
It's
about
hard.
these episodes that excite me that I want to dive into.
So I have a doc where we can write down thoughts. So far, it's only me. This is me putting
To
on
be
blast in an
fair,
episode.
to be fair, it was only Sam this week. I think it was only me last week. It's whoever. It's always just one of us. It's like, hey, maybe I should do it this week.
I haven't done it this season. I did it every episode last season.
Yeah, and
you
I
guys
didn't.
never did it.
Yeah.
So
But what I wrote down was Jason has issues. Really
careful,
cool
some of these
action.
are-
Yeah.
yeah.
Really cool action for Jason. Might be some of my favorite fight scenes.
Yeah.
And I like the team dynamic where they were at, where Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy.
Yeah, we get a little bit more of that. This episode is primarily concerned with Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, and I like the use of Jason Todd as a foil for Robin. And weirdly, not getting into spoilers, you get an interesting picture of Batman in his absence of what he might be going through emotionally. That he saw Jason, he's like, "Yeah, you'll do," because Jason won't do. Normally in the comics, Jason is kind of rough around the edges, and then he gets killed, and then all bets are off. This Jason is already super problematic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they kind of, because I've been keeping up with the Red Hood comic,
Yeah.
and they're establishing this Jason more.
Yeah.
It's like he showed up, but it's always like he might
they
be
look
a
the same
problem.
effing age. They
By-
look the same age.
One shorter.
No,
look the
I
same
didn't.
age.
I see what you're saying because the Dick Grayson does look young. They didn't look exactly the same age to me. Here they are. I actually really like this actor for Jason Todd because he
Me
is.
too. He was amazing, and he
Yeah.
was the right age.
Could
Yeah,
he play?
he's a doucher, but he's a compelling doucher.
Could
You know what I
he-
mean?
He could play a Terry McGinnis. He could play a Batman Beyond. He looks very similar to the way I imagine Terry McGinnis, like
He
live
was
action.
really good.
His jaw is insane.
Here's
His
the
jaw
issue.
is crazy.
Here's the issue with this episode. Like Sam said, I go back and forth between Starfire and Beast Boy being my favorite characters. They didn't care about that at all
in this episode.
in this episode.
Yeah.
And we're on episode 6. We've already met Hawk and Dove. We've already met Doom Patrol.
The whole Doom Patrol.
We've spent a lot of time meeting people and not focusing on the characters that I actually like. And to not get almost any of them this episode was rough for me.
And this is halfway. It's
Even-
12
and
episodes. I just
yeah,
checked.
yeah. Even though
It's
I
interesting
really
because on the
like,
thing it says 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
even
not
though
sure.
I really like the person playing Jason Todd. What's the actor's name?
We
don't remember?
We'd have to. Remember.
I'll pull it up really
yeah.
quick.
Whoever he is, I think he did a good job, and I like the dynamic. It just was so Robin heavy.
Curran Walters.
Kern Walter.
I believe it's Kieran Walters is how they were pronouncing it at Collider. They had an interview with him.
Yeah,
He's
no,
very good.
But you're right, it definitely is spelled correct.
Their dynamic was really interesting, and I liked the way that he reveals some stuff about Batman that we didn't know, and also that Dick didn't know, like just
Yeah.
their new dynamic and how he can see how his dynamic with Batman probably looked from the
Yeah.
outside too, which is interesting. Also, what people think
Lovers.
of Robin on the
Yeah.
outside too, which he's not. Yeah, lovers.
Yeah, and
Gross.
and Robin's complicated relationship with being Robin. Dick Grayson's complicated relationship with being Robin, being that role, and we get a little bit more of his backstory. And I was actually really impressed with this episode in that some of the things that I've noticed, and I felt like they were budgetary things, weren't a problem this episode. Like a lot of times, it's usually just our main characters. But this time we got to see a bar, and we got like some crowd shots, and we got to see some stuff
Because
from
we didn't have to see necessarily some of our
abilities and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah, and I don't mind taking, because this did a better job of revealing who Dick is as a person. I like that this show's not like spinning its wheels. I wish there are things that the Netflix shows do better than this. But I like that those shows could use a little bit more of a not a serialized. The opposite would be
episodic.
Not episodic. procedural element where it's like each episode is a little bit different, and it's like we're figuring out something new, we're discovering something new, we're into something new, and we're always kind of switching it up while kind of deepening things with our characters, because this whole season's been primarily Dick-centric, because Hawk and Dove was fleshing that out. And
that was his
Doom
flashback
Patrol,
episode,
yeah,
right?
Doom Patrol, that was a flashback episode for him. There's been a couple.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol was Beast Boy. You know, the main arc is Raven. I'm assuming we'll get something with Starfire, especially since she still needs to figure out who she is. So for me, I like that we're switching it up. I like that, again, we're not, like, I think I said it last week too, that we're not beating around the bush with like introducing characters that connect to these other characters. I like the flow of this show, and I hope you said there might be season 2. I hope it's successful enough that they're able to inject a little bit more money into it. I don't know. I am of the opinion that this show keeps getting better as we go.
Roxy, how are you feeling about this episode as a whole?
I thought this episode was definitely worse than the previous episode. So I don't know. I keep thinking, for this app, it's $80 a year, and this is the one original series we have right now.
Right now, yeah, for 2018. Yeah.
So that's a big ask.
Yeah, and it's really important that they're doing well right out, like to show that they're doing well out the gate. I think that they're doing. I mean, if Stargirl got greenlit immediately, like I'm sure they're fine for right now. But like, I don't know. Like there are some good elements of this. I think the action was really solid in this episode.
The action in the show is solid.
And Jason specifically gets a lot of really cool scenes where I enjoy what they want to do with this character.
Yeah,
me too.
But this show kind of feels like it's just doing a lot of work that, like, you say it, and you say it often when we talk about the show, that it doesn't want to be cagey. It wants to set up like a world, and it wants to feel like a world. But it's okay if we actually spend some more time to know who our characters are. And I know we're learning more about Dick because of Jason, and we get that. But it's like we can't do that within the confines of the Titans. We have to go off and do something else. And we don't. Does anything of the main plot really happen that's important? Not really. No, like at all, actually. And so I'm just like, I kind of want to know what the main plot is. Like I want this to keep going.
What is this show about?
Like we even mentioned on Doom, when we were talking about Doom Patrol, we were like, well, I wonder what the next 6 episodes are. It's like it could just be these like establishing episodes where it's like, and this is another thing about this world, and this is another thing.
I'd be into that, because I've got enough of these shows that feel like we need to get into Kingpin's plot for 13 episodes. Fuck it, I don't need that shit anymore. Like let's jump around. Like guess what? If the Trigon plot is not enough to fill out 12 episodes, do other shit. Don't bore me. I just don't want to be bored.
I get what you're saying, I just wish we spent the first 6 episodes really getting to know who these people are. And I don't feel like I know most of these people. I know where they came from. And that's not saying I actually know where they came from. I just physically know where they like I know where they were, and I know that they are now here physically in space and time.
Exactly.
And so I don't feel invested, and I wish I did. I'm actually most invested based off this episode, Jason. I actually want to know more about him, because he is an asshole, and I actually like. He's going to cause so many problems, and I want to know what that's going to be. But I don't see he's probably not going to be, right? He's going to show up again, of course.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like at some point they're going to have Batman show up. They just have to spoilers. He's not in this episode. To kind of like at some point they're just like Superman had to show up in Supergirl. At some point, Batman's going to have to answer for himself. You know what I mean? Because we're getting different sides of that conversation, and it would be interesting.
Although looking back, did Superman have to show up in Supergirl?
Not in the same way, because he didn't have as much damage in his wake as Batman has on this show.
I did, though. That did make me watch Supergirl season 2, because Supergirl season 1 I was not interested in.
Yeah.
Supergirl season 2, though, I was.
And he was great on the show. I'm just saying, looking back, everybody was like, it needed to happen. It's like, not actually.
Nah, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
totally.
if you wanted a season 2 where it's like Superboy shows up and Batman, I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, Superboy showing up this season?
I don't know.
Donna Troy is.
Donna Troy is. Yeah.
Oh my God, so many people.
I think we've seen the pattern of the show. You've got one plot-centric episode, and then an episode that sets up because it's like you've got the pilot, then you've got Hawk and Dove, you've got Origin, then you've got Doom Patrol, you've got everybody together, you've got Jason Todd. I think there's going to be another episode that's moving forward the Trigon thing, and then we got Donna Troy. And for me that works. For me that works, just because I am invested in the character. I like the way they're pacing out the story, personally. I'm into it.
I wouldn't mind if Starfire got some more to do.
I
Me
feel
too,
like she
and
has to.
She in this episode.
I feel like she has to.
This episode really bothered me with her character. I can't say why without giving spoilers, but just like, are you kidding? That's
it was-
how we're gonna utilize her.
Yeah, that's how we checked in with the team.
That's-
It was
That's how we're gonna use her.
And Dick's story specifically, I guess we'll talk about it more in depth next week. It's confusing about what time period. I was very confused of like, so when the time is this? When is this happening? Who's this? Like what? Why? Like, why is this happening now? Like,
There's also some interesting goofy superhero elements, which is interesting with how like intense everybody is. I feel like if Gotham was more like this show, I'd be more into it because I feel like it has the same weird energy as Gotham. I just enjoy it more as a show.
Maybe. There was also some interesting thoughts about money in this episode that you guys will see and have opinions on, but I was kind of like, really? Is that how it works?
Yeah, apparently. But you know what? We can only be as vague for so long as we possibly can.
But since this is going to go up on YouTube, let us know this specific spoiler-free segment. Please let us know in the comments what you thought of the episode once you see it. And please tune in next week as we'll dive into spoilers at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers, which is where you can find the whole episode where we're talking about Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends, The Gifted, Gotham in the future, probably Young Justice, Black Lightning.
But what would you rate this episode?
Oh, what would I rate this? 8.5.
Oof, that's a high one.
Yeah,
That was your highest of the week.
I like this more than every CW show this week.
Legends too?
Is
Yeah.
he fighting us or?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm enjoying the.
You like it?
Yeah, I'm into it. I hear what you guys are saying, but I'm into it. Yeah.
What about you?
This is a 5 for me.
I give it a 6. Yeah, it's I'll give it a 6.5 again because I really like what they set up with Jason. I think he's a really interesting character, and it's a bummer that I'm like he's gonna be gone by next episode.
Maybe I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 because I did like Arrow and Legends, and I gave both those 8s.
There you go.
So I feel like it's because there are some questions I have that I can't get into because of spoilers. But yes, I'll give it an 8.
There you go.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of Jason Todd? Let us know in the comments down below. Are you excited for a possible season 2? What if Jason got a spinoff? We didn't talk about it in the review, but let us know. Would you want that? It's just Jason being awful.
Yeah.
Is that
I'd
what it's
actually
called?
watch
Just
it.
Jason?
being just Jason or Jason being Jason.
Just Jason around.
Not
Laugh.
your best.
I
Not
try
your best.
and I try. I tried my best. Let me know in the comments down below if I tried my best. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon so you get a little update when we release a new video. We really appreciate when you share this as well.
Absolutely.
But also follow Only Stupid Answers on Twitter.
You got the balance from Stupid.
And there's also onlystupidanswers.com. You can find our podcast, our merch, everything, and also patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. You can watch the full episode of Super TV Showdown. We talk about Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Legends, Gifted, and any other superhero show that's out there. Also full reviews of Titans
Absolutely.
episodes.
Yeah, exactly. So if you like what you saw here and you want to hear our spoiler thoughts for this episode of Titans, tune in to Super TV Showdown every Thursday.
Yep. Twitch.tv/PlayNog. Roxy, where you at?
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
DJ?
At DJ Talks Trash, every place that matters.
And Sam Basher, I am DB. See, it's
I
an
am
inside
DB.
joke. I am
See,
DB.
if you watch live, you know what that meant.
Click.
All right.
See, inside. It's an inside joke.